Good afternoon. This is G. Paris from G. Paris Media Group, and I'm here to talk to you about the services that I provide. I've been a writer for um, a long time. I started off my career as an editor for the Army Discharge Review Board Agency in Washington, Office of the Secretary of the Army at the Pentagon was our headquarters, where I processed and edited Supreme Court cases, Equal Employment Opportunity Compliance and Complaints Review Board Agency cases, Fort Leavenworth when men were going to jail, Army jail, and the parole officers and corrections of military records. And so within the Supreme Court cases, you know that you cannot have any mistakes that can cause the case to be kicked out of the Supreme Court when there is an error in the documents. That was back in 1985 to 1986. 1985 through 1988, really. And so, after which I left the government and went and became the chief of the AME Church. And it appeared that's where my trouble actually started, because at a very early age, I was very, very successful. When I came back from Washington and came in and preached my initial sermon at Newmont Olive AME Church, was licensed, I knew what I wanted. And I had touched what I wanted. And I feel that I went back into a situation that wasn't good for me. I never was encouraged at all by my home church. I was always discouraged, even from a young child. And so, but what made my story so different was because I came back. When I came back into sickness. My sister, my stepfather, my grandfather, my mother. That meant that placed me in a place of being stuck. The place for which I wanted to go and to live was Paris. So as I was saying to my mom, gee, I want to go to Paris, that's how the name G. Paris came into play. And so from there, I began to do my artwork and my music and my writing and my books. And this is 2015. And I did covers for the Grammy, the Stellars, and all the other organizations that I could, to make sure that the East Coast was covered on the West Coast side for events. Well, this year was a very different year. I was talking to a young lady about an organization that she established, and I realized that was me. As a young child, I grew up being bullied all of my life. Having to fight, actually literally fight my way out of a system. And then for me to have to go to church and to experience the same thing, the very same thing that I experienced out in the world. And so when I look at it, and I find myself having to go to the church because my mom is still a member of the church, and my grandmother's will was that her children would stay attached to the system for which she had brought them up in. By me having to be an act of obedience and one whose power of attorney over my mother, I stayed to be there to the end. But the question is to the end, what type of, is it causing me anger? No, I'm not angry. I'm not angry at all, because rejection can cause you to do better and to know better. And when people just arbitrarily try to deny you of who you are and what you are. So this has been going on all my life. Sometimes, I feel lonely. Sometimes I feel depressed. Sometimes I feel that, what's my purpose? Why am I here? And then my Savior, Jesus Christ, comes and tells me the reason why I'm here is to be a light to the community. So the decisions that I'm making as my age now is to be all that I can be until Jesus comes to get me. So I've done the best that I possibly could for people. But have people done the best they possibly can for me? So the story, when you're in media, you're a journalist, does not start with the one that you're interviewing. The story starts with you. It begins with you. Because I'm writing all these stories, I'm listening to everybody else's story, and within inside of me there is a story. Some of my stories written inside of my books called You Can't Keep a Girl Down. No, you cannot keep a good girl down. And another book that I have is called I've Got Heaven on My Mind. I do have heaven on my mind. So, as this year, 2015, this is December 21st, and we have 10 more days to go. I'm looking to have the most successful year, 2016. Whether I come into the year with money and abundance, that's irrelevant. Whether I have my cars and my houses, and the most important thing that I can take into 2016 is my mind and my talent. Because the fulfillment of what I fulfill to do will be accomplished. I will live in Paris. I will live in Paris. That's where I'm destined to be. I will be an international gospel recording artist. I started singing at age 5. And no, I can't sing like all these other singers. But I'm going to make a joyful noise unto the Lord. Oh, yes. 2016 will be hosting the Women in Ministry, Women in Missions, because you have to have a mission if you're in ministry. So G. Paris Media Group first starts with me. I'm your story. I am the story. I have a story to tell. I have a testimony to tell. I have a ministry to be able to reveal, and it's going to be told. You can reach me at area code 757-717-4818 or 757-286-3159. God bless you, G. Paris of G. Paris Media Group.